Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Homestead Heart. And today, everybody, we are going to be canning navy beans. So y'all stick around. All right, so first things first, let's make sure that you have had your beans soaking all night long and that you have rinsed your beans as well. And now I have them back on the stove, heating them up, getting them ready for canning. I'm going to be skimming off all of this foam. You know, this is gas. It is so important, y'all. I can't say this enough, that you soak your navy beans. Navy beans have a coating, most beans do, but you want to release that phytic acid from your beans. That acid prevents your body, from absorbing the nutrients that are intended for you from these beans. So make sure you soak them and soak them well. I always do mine for a minimum of 24 hours. That's just me. A minimum of 24 hours, okay? And so I've already soaked them for 24 hours. I rinsed them with warm water, and I got them back on the stove, heating up again. I'm going to boil these beans for about an hour, and then I am going to get them in my jars. This is really producing some foam on the top. I just wanted to show you that real quick so that you could see what I mean by the gas that is released from the beans. And this is just for those who don't really know what I'm talking about. I know there are some people out there who are professionals, who are bean scientists, and I respect that. You know, I'm not a bean scientist, I'm not a Navy beanologist or anything like that. You know, I just know what I know, and I'm learning something new all the time, okay? So for those who do not know, this is what I'm talking about when I say skim all of this stuff off of there. Yuck, right? Who wants to eat that, right? Nobody. So we're going to get that off, okay? And I take it and just drop it into something else on the side, or you could put it in the sink or whatever. And oh, by the way, I do have, I have a lot of beans in here because there we go. I have a lot of beans in here because I'm going to do a lot of canning. But I have bay leaves, and I have this is about 10 pounds, 12 pounds of navy beans in this pot right here. And so in this pot, I have about 12 bay leaves in here, okay? And the bay leaves, if you've never cooked with bay leaves before, I don't have to tell y'all. I mean, if you have cooked with them before, I don't have to tell you about the amazing flavor they provide to your beans. And of course, those bay leaves are going to come out once we get ready to get them in the jars, okay? And yep, my jars are already sterilized. I have already checked my jars. In fact, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Here are my jars. And my jars are already washed and sterilized, okay? And yep, I have already checked the rims of my jars here to make sure that they have no cracks, no nicks. You always want to check your jars, okay? Because if your jar has nicks on the top, then they will not seal once you take them through the pressure canner. You'll get a false seal on those, no seal at all. And yes, if you don't notice it, you could lose your product, okay? So that's what I mean. My jars they're already sterilized, and I'm gonna take these and get them back in the oven because they're cold now. I just washed them and cleaned them up and sterilized them last night. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these in a 225-degree oven to heat them up again, and that's gonna be a second way of sterilizing them. They're gonna be like double sterilized, but that's what I'm about to do, is get them in an oven. I just wanted to get them all clean last night. I didn't want to have to wash jars this morning. So I washed them all. They're ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and load them up in the oven now so they can start heating up. So by the time that hour is up with my beans, my jars will be nice and hot, and we will begin. Y'all stay tuned. All right, and we're back. And I am taking out some hot jars, getting ready to fill them with beans. I actually decided to go ahead and put my jars back in the dishwasher because I got something going in the oven. So, yep. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these canned up. I'm gonna use my spoon here. Get my hot close. I already got 3 inches of water inside of my pressure canner over there. And I got that on a medium heat to keep the water hot. My lids are right here, and yes, I do have them simmering in water. I know some will say you don't have to do that anymore. I know you don't, but that's what I prefer to do. So I have those simmering in some water, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill my jars. And today I am just canning beans. And these beans have soaked and even cooked for a little while, so I'm only gonna add, yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm only gonna add just about 1 3/4 cups of beans. You probably can't see it, but on the side of the jar you have measurements. Here, I was trying to show it to you, but even I can't, darn it, I can't see it. But anyway, and actually I could go ahead and measure it out so that we'll know for sure. I don't typically measure it out, I just kind of put it in, but that's 1 cup. Woo! There we are. So yeah, about 1 3/4 cups of beans I have in here. And I don't really have to worry about them swelling because like I said, these are just about, they're just about done, really. I'm just going to process them. I'm not going to put the bay leaves in the jars with the beans. Nope. Beans only. Move this out of the way. I mean, I got a lot of bay leaves in here. And these beans are going to be great little starters too, right? So you can actually use these beans to do a variety of things with. They're not going to be seasoned. I'm just going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in each one of these. I'm just doing a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's going to make it super easy for me to be able to do what I want to do with them. Just a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm using kosher salt. Coarse kosher salt is what I'm using. The other option is your regular canning salt. I have some of that too. Yep, I have some of that. Okay, so this is the canning salt right here. In fact, let's just use that one now that I have it out. But kosher salt is fine. You just don't want to use any salt with iodine in it, okay? Alright, so 1/2 teaspoon in each jar. Salt it right there. I love canning. I love canning, y'all. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, then I'm going to grab my ladle. And I'm going to ladle in some water. One inch of headspace for all of these. right, almost at that 1-inch headspace mark. You don't want to overfill, so make sure it's only 1 inch, okay? Make sure you're leaving that full inch headspace. You don't want to overfill because you don't want these to force the liquid up out of the jar to where it'll prevent your jars from sealing, okay? So make sure that you're following the guidelines for canning beans. You can look in, if you don't have the ball book guide to canning, you could grab one of those. All right, now I'm going to grab my debubbler. Just going to go through and move my beans around. Debubble each and every last one of these jars. Just to release the air pockets. All right, move that there. Now I have a towel, and I am going to use some, actually that could use a little more water. That has actually reduced in, okay, and so is that one. Once I debubble, it actually, the water content went down some, so there we go. Come on. And you will probably have to boil some more water to go with this, just in case you don't have enough in the pot. All right, I'm going to do that one more time. Give it a quick little stir. Okay, and then I have a towel. What I'm going to do with my towel, I'm going to dip it in some vinegar. Yes, I am. Squeeze out the excess. And then I'm going to go over my rings. Go over the rims of my jars. I've already ran my finger around the rim of my jars before I even get started with washing them. I always check the rims because I don't want to waste my time on jars, washing and cleaning and all of that on jars that may be damaged. Just a waste of time. So I check them before I wash them. And then once I take them out, I'll check them one more time before I bring them out to put the product in. So I've just double checked. I'm going to grab my little magnet here. Take my lids out of the simmering water, put those on top, like so. I love this little magnet. This little magnet is an awesome little tool. Put that in there. Got my rings hanging up top. All right, look what I put them on, y'all. I got this really big, giant scoop thing that I hang from the top of my cabinet. And I just put them up there and I take one off. Take them off as I need them. There we go. All right. And get these rings on. Fingertip tight. I'm not going to crank down on that. Just fingertip tight, y'all. Fingertip tight. Oops. All right. So I got all of those on there. These are indeed hot. This is what they look like. They have just water and salt in the jars. And I am going to put these inside of my pressure canner over there. All right, come on, let me show you. Let me take you with me so you can see. Okay, so these are my beans. So far, this is 6. I have some left. I'm probably going to be canning beans throughout the day mostly. Okay, this one is a little fuller than the rest. I think I'm going to take some beans out of that one. But I'm going to get this, get it down into the canner. Like I said, my water's already warm. I already got my little I always forget the name of that thing. but it's sitting in the bottom. That allows me to be able to, that allows my jars to have equal water flow underneath the bottom of them. Okay. Alrighty. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Let's get that down in there. Not trying to make anybody dizzy. Oops, I put the wrong one in there, y'all. I just said I was going to take some beans out of that one. Okay, grab this one. I have a 23-quart Presto pressure canner. So I'm going to try to get 14 pints inside of this canner, okay? And what I will do is I will bring you back once I have my canner loaded and get all of the beans. This is not all the beans I have. I got more beans. So I'll bring you back here in just a sec. Okay, so I got all of the jars inside of the canner. I have a total of 13 pints. I have 8 on the bottom and the 5 on top. And I do have an extra plate down in there. See there? And I put that there to hold the jars on top. So these do stack. And I'm going to go ahead and get the lid on. And then we'll get them processed. These are going to be processing at 10 pounds of pressure from my altitude, 75 minutes. These are pint size, so it's going to be 75 minutes. So I'll bring you back. All right, so we are now venting for 10 minutes, meaning we got a steady flow of steam coming out here. And we will now set the timer for 10 minutes, allowing that steam to vent. I don't know if you can see that or not, but allowing that to vent 10 minutes. And then we're going to let this come up to 10 pounds. And again, we'll be processing these for 75 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes for the pint-sized jars. And once this cools down, it takes it about an hour to come down off of pressure after they process. Once this cools down, I'll bring you back and show you. All right, the timer has gone off. My canner the pressure is down to 0 on my gauge here. The nipple is down in the back. This is still very hot. I've jiggled this already to make sure I don't hear any steam coming out, and I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And then I'm going to open my canner. I am going to turn this just to release any air that may be sitting around it. And then I am going to drop everything. Okay, I'm going to open it and lift it away from me. It does have a lot of steam in it, and of course that's very hot. Let me set this to the side. Oh, that's hot. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and start getting my jars out of the canner. I got my next set of beans right here ready to go. These babies are boiling still on the inside. Look there. That's one. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to need to spread this out a little bit more. Yes, I am. Probably going to need to get a second towel because those jars are hot. So yeah, I typically always use 2 towels if I'm going to put it on my counter, my table, no matter what. I'm going to use more than 1 towel because I do not want any damage to come to my counters or my table. Okay, take this out. All right, it's 1, 2, 3. All right, I am absolutely loving this. That's 5. I'm going to have to get a knife and get this here out of the canner. Move that to the side. That's hot too. All right, now I'm going to grab the rest of my jars. And these right here, once they come out of the canner, they should start to ping. You want to listen for that wonderful pinging sound that confirms that they have a nice seal on them. That's what you want. All right. Last one. Da, 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 da. Whew. All right, that's 13 jars away. Look it, look it, look it. 13 jars. Yep, and you could see they're all still boiling away on the inside. Yes, they are. So, again, these process for 75 minutes. Navy beans, another 13 going in the food pantry. Okay? Going in the food pantry. Pay close attention to what's going on around you. The weather is changing severely. Just look at the cold temperatures we've had across the majority of this country. And, being snowed in, iced in, if you can't go anywhere, you need to be able to have food so that you don't have to worry about having to go out in bad weather to feed your family. Okay? So, there it is. That's the first one. I love that sound. Okay, so that's the first set right there. That is the first 13. And like I said, I have more right here in the pot that has been sitting there, and they have also soaked overnight as well. I'm going to divide this pot up, and I'm going to make 2 big batches of navy bean soup. Yep, navy bean soup. And I'm going to cook it this time around because, like I said, the weather's getting kind of bad. And so I'm just going to make sure that I get this canned up so that if we just need to pop open some soup, then we can do that and it's ready to go. Okay? All right. If you all enjoyed this video, please give me a like, a thumbs up, big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, and please share this information with others. It really means a lot to us and what we're trying to accomplish here. It really is a great help. And so we certainly appreciate all that you do. So thank you so very, very much for watching Homestead Heart. You all be blessed, and we will see you next time.